there can be a thing that happens when you're the only one in a space where you do have to contort yourself because you feel like, actually, I'm the only one and I have to make sure that I stay here. So then do you then end up sometimes compromising yourself to maintain that position in that space? I understand that those conversations have to be had, but at the same time, it's like teaching white people about racism. It's not my creation.
Hello and welcome to Creatives Like Us, where I speak with creatives of colour who share journeys and stories and ideas and how they can inspire and open up avenues in creative industries. I'm your host, graphic designer Angela Lyons, and with the help of my guests, I will bring you insightful interviews and compelling stories that can inspire you to think about things differently or shape your next move. Being a creative of colour can bring its challenges, highs and lows and in-betweens. But this podcast is about amplifying our voices and celebrating together. So, are you ready? Let's get started with Creatives Like Us. Hi, and welcome to Creatives Like Us. And today I'm joined with Sylvia. And I met Sylvia at the Black Business Show this year. And when I saw her designs, her illustrations, I thought they looked fantastic. And I just thought, I went over and I purchased some for her straight away. And then I said to her, please, will you come on my podcast? And she said yes straight away. So I'm really, really pleased to have her here today. So Sylvia, over to you. Please tell people who you are and what you do.
Thank you for having me. It was lovely to meet you at the business show. I'm Sylvia Prince. I am a print-based designer and I am the creator of Sylvia Prince Limited, which is a Afrocentric range of cards targeted specifically to Black and brown children. I include children who are living with vitiligo and children with albinism in my card range as well.
I'd love to know a bit more about that and why you actually introduced that into your range. That's great. Could you tell me a little bit about how you started and why you started? Because I think everyone's got their origin story of why they went into business. We know business is quite tough and quite hard, but we also do it because it comes from a passion somewhere within. So how did you start and why did you start?
Okay, so I've got two children. I've got a daughter who is now 15 and a son who's 12. When they were really little, when people were still giving out birthday party invitations, I always found it difficult to find party invitations featuring Black children and specifically featuring Black children who were interested also in the things that my children were interested in. So my daughter was never keen on like being a ballerina and my son wasn't into football or any kind of sports whatsoever. So I just used to make my own.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So parents at school were like, oh, these are really nice invitations. Where did you get them? And what happened was the last invitation that I did for my son actually featured this boy here.
I'll just tell everyone because I think some people on audio, not people watching on video, but the boy who Sylvia points to is a little black boy and he's holding an artist palette and he looks very cute.
So it was that character, but he wasn't doing that. He wasn't holding an artist palette, but I created this character and put it on his card. And one of my son's best friends is an Asian girl called Naya. And her mum, Nikki, said to me, oh, this is really great. I find it difficult to find cards with Asian children on them. Yeah, so she was like, she really encouraged me, you should do this. She was one of the people that encouraged me. So I created 4 characters who were originally based on my son, Ruben, my daughter, Ella, and
nice.
Naya's older brother, Ashton. And I started with those 4 characters, showed them to everybody. Everybody said, yeah, Sylvia, these are great. And I sat on that for like 4 years.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. I am a professional procrastinator. Seriously.
Professional.
Professional.
Oh, wow. Wow. There's a time for everything. There's always a time for everything, people say. But 4 years is a long time.
Years is a lot. It's nothing in my world.
Yeah.
And all the time, my husband was saying to me, I thought he was going to do this thing. I thought he was going to do this thing. I've been with my husband over 20 years. And I was with him when I did my degree. And when I graduate, it's funny, I said, I'm going to do freelance. I'm going to get experience for like a couple of years and then I'm going to branch out on my own. So for the last 20 odd years, he's been saying to me, I thought you were going to do your own thing, Sylvia. I thought you were going to do your own
Wow.
thing.
He's done talking.
He was encouraging me. Another one of the mums at school, Jenny, she's got a company called the Small Jewelry Company. She was encouraging
Mm.
me. And one of my friends who has her own catering company, Lorraine, she was encouraging me as well. And I had all those people saying, why don't you just do this thing? Why don't you just, and I was like, okay.
So you were surrounded by people that
Yeah, I
that could
was.
see that there was a need for it, and that
Yeah,
you actually had the passion for it and could do it.
it was just me.
It was just you. But you know what? Life happens though, doesn't it? As you said, 4 years, things happen in 4 years.
Yeah. And
But so what happened then? What made you like actually go, I'm going to do this now?
I did three things. 2020, I did three things. I read Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes, and she basically just talks about coming out of her comfort zone and just saying yes. She said she's going to spend a year, and every time somebody gives her an opportunity or asks her, "Do you want to do something?" she's just going to say yes and see where it goes. For those of you who, I don't know, anybody who doesn't know, Shonda Rhimes is the creator of Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder, Grey's Anatomy. And then I started following on Instagram Bozoma St. John, who is, these are all American ladies, by the way, as well, and all black
Are
ladies.
they? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Um,
inspiration comes from everywhere. So,
yeah, it's
you
funny.
know.
But she started off as a marketing executive. So she was the chief marketing officer for people like Apple,
Mm.
Uber, Netflix, people like that.
Big brands then.
And
Yeah.
she did a talk at an Apple event or something. You know, it's all very dry. Everybody, I say dry now, I was going to say
Yeah.
everybody's got the black pollinate jumpers. It's all very dry. And she went out in this really bright pink dress with a massive afro. And she was
Wow.
just taking up space in that. She was just like,
Yeah.
you've just got all this bland, and then it's like, pow. She's just like this burst of energy and color, quite literally color. Her Instagram handle is Badass Boz.
I'll put these in the show notes too so people can look them.
She did a workshop called the Badass Workshop, which was like an online thing, and I did that as well. And her thing is about taking up space. Because she's a very vibrant personality, she used to go into corporate settings and try and do the grey suit thing, try and fit in. And she would make herself small to fit in a space.
Wow.
And she's like a 6 foot black woman, dark skinned black woman. And she said that people in her work environments used to look at her sideways and sort of like, there's no other black women in this space that she was in.
Mm.
They used to other her anyway. So she was like, well, I'm in this space and I'm feeling uncomfortable because I'm trying to be somebody who I'm not. So why am I contorting myself to be in this space? And you're not accepting me anyway. I might as well feel comfortable. I might as well be myself. So she used to turn up for work just wearing whatever she wanted, and people just had to deal with it because she was getting the
And I
job
bet they
done.
started noticing her more too, didn't they? I bet they started
Yeah.
noticing her more.
And then that then goes to her performing at her best because she felt comfortable.
Yes. Yeah. She was ready to take the space, wasn't she? When she
Right.
felt that she was comfortable and she realized that why am I being like all the others when I don't need to be like the others? But that's quite hard in a big corporation, especially in America. I mean, obviously I've not worked in America, but what I hear about working there is quite tough working corporate. So
Yeah.
is she interestingly, does she have her own business now or does she still do corporate or is it a bit of both?
So she wrote a book last year or year before. She wrote her memoir, you could say. And now she is running her own business. She's just launched some kind of
Wow.
hair care
Oh,
range.
wow. Oh, okay. So it's not even marketed. It's like
No,
she's branched off to something. That's another thing, I think. Yeah.
she's doing her own thing. So that was that. I did that workshop, and her book is funny. It was called The Urgent Life. And that book was like last year or the year before. But when I did her workshop, it was 2020. And she basically said, do the thing. If you're going to do something, just do it. What are you waiting for? That was her thing. Grab life. That's because of her own
Brilliant.
personal story. Just grab life. And then the third thing I did, which I suppose was maybe the most impactful thing, I read a book by one of Bozoma St. John's friends called Professional Troublemaker and
Oh, interesting title.
the Fear Fighter Manual. And it was written by a woman called Lovey Ajayi Jones. One of her recent quotes is, "Do not break yourself down into bite-sized pieces. Let them choke."
Oh my gosh. Could you say
Mm.
that again?
Do not break yourself down into bite-sized pieces. Let them choke.
Wow. Again, that is saying, I'm here. That is really powerful. Yeah. Wow. Wow.
So her book is about fighting fear and taking up space, and and it's specifically targeted to Black women. And it's how, as women, and then the intersectionality of Black women, we are told or taught from a young age to make ourselves small in order to accommodate other people's feelings,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and just ways of being bold, being loud. Don't make other people say you're too loud, you're too much. She's like, be too much,
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
loud. Yeah. Yeah.
Professional troublemaker.
So that book just pushed me over the edge. I've always wanted to do graphic design, but in my current profession that I'm working in, my full-time job, I'm not doing graphic design anymore. I left graphic design in 2012. 12, yeah, the year my son was born. I left graphic design. So I found out quite a lot of things about me later on. So perfection is the enemy of progress, and it does not exist.
Brilliant.
That's Lovia Jai Jones, right?
Wow.
So I'm a perfectionist, but I didn't realize that at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was working in a corporate world in graphic design, and I was working in the head office doing employee communications. And what I realized was, as a designer, you're kind of the last person in the line of people making decisions. Yeah. And you don't always agree with the decisions that they've made, but you now have to now produce the piece of work that represents their decisions. So somebody will come to you and say they want something, but they're not clear
Yeah. Especially in corporate.
because it's
Yeah.
designed by committee. And when you've got a group of people, right, everybody's got their own idea. Nobody's clear. So you produce something and people just pick it apart. Oh, I'll have a bit of that and a bit of that. And you produce something and it just ends up looking like a monster.
Mm.
Or you have to fight really hard to defend your work.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes I just feel like, why am I here defending my work? It can be really, if you've got that personality. I worked with somebody who used to say, her quote was, "If they want it ugly, I'll give it to them ugly." Yeah, it's just like,
But it's true.
yeah,
I'm going to get paid at the end of the day.
I'm going to get paid. And I actually don't care. So why should I care? But I care.
Yeah.
So it used to, I
Yeah.
realized it was a bit soul destroying. It's just like, you just feel like people are just picking at you. And I took it personally because I'm a perfectionist. But I didn't realize I was doing that. It was somebody years later who basically broke that down when they asked me about my journey and that's why I wasn't doing design anymore. And I love design. Why are you not doing it anymore? And she said to me, it was a personal trainer that I was seeing about 7 years ago. And she said to me, what you need to do is you need to do design work for yourself because
Wow.
you take the criticism so personally and it's not about you. It's got nothing to do with you. So why are you letting what has nothing to do with you stop you from doing what you want to do? So do design, but just do it for yourself, which is my cards. I'm doing it. It's put out there. Nobody can pick it apart. And the Professional Troublemaker book helped me realize that if you're holding on to perfection, you're never going to move. You're never going to do anything.
Mm-hmm. And you won't be happy. And there's various forms of happiness, as we know, but it's just one of those things where you'll never be completely happy if you are a perfectionist.
I don't know any artist who is actually 100% happy with their work. Whatever you're doing in a creative field, you can come back and look at it. You finish it today and you come back and look at it next week and you'll be like, I would have changed that or I would have done that. I don't know any artist in any field, music, art, whatever.
And it's funny, even though people love it and people have said they love it, like, but you could see your work and you go, oh my God, I've done that. I've done it too. When I'm doing my magazines, they come out in print and I look at them, I go, oh my God, I can't believe I left that there. And no one's noticed it. No one said anything.
Yeah,
It's fine. Everyone said, oh, it's lovely. It's great. But you're like, oh my God, oh, why did I do that? So
yeah,
you're just like self-critical all the time.
right. And what I've had to learn to do is just let stuff go. Once it's out, it's gone. If I want to change it,
Yeah.
let me do another card. Let me do another character.
Yeah. That's really interesting. Your personal trainer actually said that because you were going to her for obviously health and exercise, and she helped you with your mind too. Isn't that important? Isn't that
She was
amazing?
brilliant. Vanessa Alexander, her name was. And it was funny because I was going to her and I had a health issue, which was I sprained my back when I was about 20. So I've had these back issues. And she said to me, how did you sprain your back? And I said, because my mum is a seamstress and me and my sister used to sew a lot when we were younger. So I said, I was sat on my floor, bent over, and I was pinning out a pattern on fabric on my floor. And before I realized it, I'd been in that same position for about 4 hours. I was making a suit,
Wow,
just bent
that's
over, just.
intense.
And she said to me, what, and you hadn't taken a break? And I said, no, because I was just focused on doing this thing.
Mm.
And she was saying, because you just wanted to make it perfect, didn't you?
Oh,
And then she
wow.
made that arc. I don't even know how she saw it. She made the arc back to why I left my job. So
Wow.
I'm like, I drive trains. I'm a driving instructor on the trains.
Hang on a minute. You're a driving instructor.
Yeah, that's what I do. But I work for London Underground, so I'm a driving instructor on London Underground.
Ah,
So it's
okay.
100. It's like it's in no way related to design at all.
Wow, that is amazing. That is, do you know what? Every time I talk to you, I find out new things about you, Sylvia. This is amazing. If you
Yeah,
see Sylvia, I just think, wow, she's just like an amazing person. You are just so cool. You teach people how to drive trains on the London
teach people how
Underground,
to drive trains
and then you have your business
on the side.
with your illustrations on the.
Yeah,
It's not on the side, is it?
it's my
What do you
business,
say?
but it's
Yeah.
it's 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 something that I
So is the train job the bread and butter, shall we say?
yes,
And then
yes,
the business, the Sylvia Prince Designs, is your passion.
it's my passion. Definitely, absolutely, is my passion. So those are the things that push me over the edge to start.
That's really cool because I always ask people what their catalyst connections are. And those were there for you, weren't they? So obviously the personal trainer and the books you've read and the people, the workshops you've been to, is there anyone else that's made you go, right, this is it, or this is all, they're all the people. Is there anyone else? Obviously your husband.
My husband, Nikki Kanani, who's Naya and Ashton's mum, Jenny or June Clark, who was a mum at the school, Rio's mum. She had a small business. She works in IT and she makes jewelry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ah, nice. That's nice. Yeah.
And then I met people along the way who helped me once I'd started my business. So those people were
Hmm.
great, those connections. But the catalyst was when I did my degree, the theoretical part of my degree, I chose to do representation.
Mm.
So I was always interested in stereotypes and colonialism and empire and how it affects just layers of how it affects my life. My parents were born in Jamaica. They came to they came to London on British passports in the
Hmm.
60s.
Yeah. You have to get that bit in, obviously, because the Windrush scandal that we know about.
In the 60s.
Hmm.
So and they had a certain mindset because they had a colonial education.
Hmm.
So we were brought up thinking certain things or being told certain things, and just seeing the disconnect between my mum's experiences to my experiences and not wanting my daughter and my son to have those same experiences. So the first child we had was a girl. So my husband and I were very intentional about not having gender specific things in the house. We didn't buy like Barbie Cindy dolls. So we didn't buy those kind of dolls. If we bought her a doll, it would be almost like a rag doll and it would be a black rag doll. So we were very intentional about stuff that we did. And when we watched television from when she was about 3 or 4, I used to say to her, when we were watching her programs, I used to say, oh, how many children can you see that look like you? Or how many people can you see that look like me or your dad? So I was getting her to count the black people on the screen in all of the programs she was watching. But so I was trying to put ideas in her head about representation and what was important. Because I've got a thing about people being seen and taking up space that goes round to the Bozoma St. John, the Love
Yeah, yeah.
Ajayi Jones thing. And it's about representation and the importance of representation and just children, all children being given, I don't know, not validation, but just to be seen. When I was young, I used to get birthday cards with like little blonde white girls on them, and it wasn't a thing.
Oh, yeah, we know that. The one that always used to get me was the one I used to get from church when you used to make your Holy Communion and you'd have a little white person kneeling down. And I'd be like, why are there no black people on these cards? I actually think that when I was little, but I just thought because it's a thing, I just left it as a thing, because like you, I suppose my parents didn't tell me these things or didn't want to talk to me about these things. But yeah, it's the representation. But I noticed.
But Ange, you were ahead of the curve. You were ahead of the curve to even think, why are there no black people? Because for me, it was just, I got a birthday card. It didn't register because that's how things were. So yeah, and through my education and stuff, I didn't want my children growing up with that mindset, not knowing that there was space for them and they should expect there to be space for them. So it's lovely and it's sad at the same time when people see things for black people and they go, oh, this is wonderful. There's stuff with black people on it. And it's like that reaction, you shouldn't have to have that reaction.
We shouldn't. I think that is also, oh gosh, is it a European thing at the moment or is it worldwide? Because when we think about it, I mean, earlier on this year, I went to Ghana and obviously it's Africa. They're just black people everywhere. When I spotted a white person, I was like, oh, there's a white person over there. But when I was in Africa, it was just like, there are just black people everywhere. And I loved it, absolutely loved it. And I thought, it was funny actually, because when I came back at the airport, and I was picking up the luggage from, the belt. And I looked around, I was like, why are all these white people? And I realised I was back in the UK. And it was just like,
you're back home, Ange.
I'm back home.
Home. Home.
Yeah. And that's what I think, I know what you're saying, because I feel sad. A bit like you, talk to your children about pointing how many black people are there on the TV. I do that too with my children, but now my children are teenagers and they're like, oh, mum, you've got to change your attitude a little bit. And I just get a bit like, yeah, but tell me, where are these people? Are they're not in boardrooms. You might see them on the TV adverts and places like that, but they're not at the top. And we need to start taking that space.
Yeah. Or also just doing our own things in our own spaces and not feeling the need to be part of what's over there.
Yeah.
Because there can be a thing that happens when you're the only one in a space where you do have to contort yourself because you feel like, actually, I'm the only one and I have to make sure that I stay here. So then do you then end up sometimes compromising yourself to maintain that position in that space? It's complicated. And when people make decisions and do the things they do, I can't necessarily judge them because I don't know what their mindset is. I don't know. Do you see what I mean?
You can't judge because you don't. Yeah, of course you don't know what they're going through or what their journey is and how they're there.
And you don't
what
know
they're there for and how they're there.
It's easy to get into that space.
Yes.
And people who don't get it, who don't understand, would be like, "Oh, why are you trying to separate yourselves?" And it's like, no, I'm not trying to separate anything. You lot didn't include me, so I'm just not trying to be included.
Yeah. And I'm going to do my thing now. Speaking of which, when I saw you at the Black Business Show, that was so cool. Was that your first time there? Have you been there before? It was so cool to see all your designs and lots of black faces on cards. So yeah, was it your first time there or?
That was my first time exhibiting at a Black Business Show. I'd only ever been to one Black Business Show before. That was a couple of years ago. That was the third trade show that I've participated in. And the reason I did that one was because I wanted to be in a space where my cards were for the audience they were intended for.
That's powerful too. Yeah. That's really nice.
The trade shows that I've been to, my stuff is unapologetically Afrocentric. I've got no white children on my cards because there's loads of cards with white children on them. So sometimes other trade shows that I've been to, there might be just a couple. Say there's like 100 people selling cards, maybe one or two of them have got black people in their cards. And sometimes people, I'd notice an interesting thing. People might come around to my stand and be like, oh, I've already got black cards in my shop. It's really interesting to see what their perception is of black
Yeah.
cards and why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I made the point before, you don't go into a shop and you see one card with one white girl on it and think, we've got one card with one white girl, we don't need any more. But people do that with black cards.
Wow.
They do. They've like, oh, I've ticked that diversity box.
So when just go back to these trade shows, are they like big shows like, say, for example, in like Earl's Court, kind of like those kind of places, or Business Design Centre, and then shops, like retailers actually come round and say who they're going to buy from? Is that kind of trade show? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the first trade show that I did, I had those types of conversations. But then I had a conversation with a buyer from TJX and me and her connected. And then my cards ended up being in Australia, Canada,
Wow.
and the States.
Fantastic.
So, but that was that one connection that we had, and she got it. Sometimes you can speak to people and they're like, yeah, I get it. But I just found the experience a bit, it can be exhausting.
Is it exhausting explaining it to people all the time? These are beautiful cards. Yeah, and why can't you just go for them? But do I have to always tell a story? I think sometimes black creatives, there's always got to be a little story behind it of why you should do this or why you should do that. Why can't you just accept it?
What's your reasoning? Why did you decide to do these cards? Are you asking the white people why they decided to put white kids on their cards? I understand that those conversations have to be had, but at the same time, it's like teaching white people about racism. It's not my creation. You go and find out. We'll move along. But you can't say that when you're standing on the stand.
No, you've got to still smile. You've got to still smile and say, would you like to see some samples?
So going to the UK Black Business Show, I thought, do you know what? It's going to be a different experience. And it absolutely was. It was, I go through moments where, because I have to find time in my own time to go to pop-ups and do events and stuff, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm going to give it a rest for now. And also because it's not my main source of income, I can do that. At some point this year, I was like, oh, I'm going to have to wind up this card thing because this is long. And
oh no, don't. Sorry, I'll let you carry on. Sorry, carry on.
Or just change, or look at changing the way. And that's what I'm looking at moving forward, changing the way that I do it. But that really reaffirmed lots of things for me attending that show. It's, do you know, like your experience of going to Ghana, you know, when you're in a space and it sounds, what I'm going to say is going to sound off. So Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie said, she's been interviewed and she said she didn't realize she was black until she went to America.
Yeah. I think I've read that.
In Nigeria, she's just Chimamanda.
She's Chimmy, Chimamanda. Mm-hmm.
She's not othered. Everybody looks like her. Her skin is not a thing. It's only a thing when she's in another space. There's a feeling of relaxation that happens when you're around people who look like you, whether you realize it or not.
I totally know that, and I totally get that.
And I hear it often when people go to different countries in Africa, if they live in the States or if they live in the UK, and they just go there and they're like, oh man, the first thing they always say, oh man, there was just like black people all around. And it's like, oh, because they're not made to feel othered.
Yeah.
And you're not, it's like you don't feel like you have to
feel uncomfortable. I know I'll go to the countryside and I know that I might just get looked at. I'm talking about the UK countryside, and they will look at me, and I know they want to cross the other side of the road, but I'll just say, morning. And they'll be like, oh. And I've done this with my sister. My sister is brilliant. She'll be like me, talk to anyone. And then, you know what, those people start chatting to us like, oh, what are you doing there? What are you up to? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay. So, you know, we're not all like what you see on the TV and think, put us in
Mm,
that stereotype box
mm.
of, you know, I don't know, being aggressive or, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you might be the first live one that they've seen.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And who's got a voice? Yeah, or spoken to. Yeah, exactly. But going back to the Black Business Show, and one of the things that, again, the representation, I think it's really important, especially for young kids, is that I went with my friend Ayo. And you remember Ayo and her
Yeah, of
son?
course.
Yeah. But his face when he saw your cards was just like, I get emotional now. It was just
Mm,
like, they look like me. And it
yeah.
was just, and you know, you gave him the sticker and Aya bought some cards from you. And honestly, we couldn't stop talking about it afterwards. Like, oh, they're so cool. And
Mm,
yeah, we have seen black cards in shops before, but I think yours, I don't know. Obviously, you had different skin shades and you
yeah,
had like different what they were wearing, what they were doing,
yeah.
like the painter, the astronaut. You know, I always do this for dad's cards. They're always playing golf or something, aren't they?
Or
Some
there's
random,
beer.
you always like
Beer, gardening,
golf
golf or
and golf.
football.
Yeah. But he sold cards that, you know, there was a boy painting and he's like, oh, I paint kind of thing, you know. So it's all those kind of things. It's just that, and obviously more so, I think for him was the colour of his skin. And I
Yeah.
thought that was really a beautiful sight to see. It was just so lovely seeing his face light up like that. Another thing just leads me on to ask you about the Vitiligo Society. How come you got involved with that, or why did you decide to include those in your cards? I think it's really important too, because I think that is a area where people just think, I mean, now you see it lots more. You get the models
Mm,
that are coming
yeah,
out, they're on TV. But
yeah.
before, it was seen as something that was to be, you know,
Covered up.
not included.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was thinking about, so I had, and this is why, you know, in hindsight, the 4-year gap for me was good. Because if I'd started 4 years ago, I just would have had the 4 characters, the 2
Mm-hmm.
mid-brown black characters and the 2 Asian characters who are lighter brown. The 4 years gave me a little bit of time to think about what I wanted to do. When I looked at it, what it was as well, I was thinking about a name for my company. That went well.
It's a perfect name. It's you.
I wanted
Yeah.
to do something with, like, I was thinking about doing something with melanin in the name. I was looking at melanin. And then I thought about, okay, so what about children who are really dark skinned children? Because you never really see very dark skinned black children on cards. Or then I
Yeah.
thought, okay, what about really light skinned children? And then I was thinking about melanin and I thought about it, just, I don't know, my mind just took me down different tones and then pigmentation and then, oh, different types of pigmentation. Is it even, or if there's a lack of melanin? And that's what brought me to albinism and
Mm-hmm.
vitiligo.
Mm-hmm.
Get the terminology correct. I Googled Vitiligo UK. I found the Vitiligo Society UK, who are a charity who support people with vitiligo and they offer education. So they've got like their board and then they just do like public outreach. So I contacted them to ask them about the terminology. So like there's certain terminology around certain things. So you say somebody living with something rather than naming
Mm-hmm.
them the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody lives with albinism, they're not an albino. Just
Yes. Just slightly
stuff like that.
changing the
Yeah.
words. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I wanted to make sure I got it right. So when I spoke to this woman who was the chair, Abby, she was like, oh, this is great. And then she said they're trying to put together a school resource pack and would I help them?
Wow.
And I said, well, yeah. So I ended up illustrating a school resource pack. The first one was for children up to the age of 12, and the second one was for teenagers. And it's like a resource pack that it comes together with. There's a PowerPoint slide presentation, and then there's a letter. If somebody's got a child with vitiligo, it's a resource that they can give to the child's teacher. There's a letter that goes out to parents to say this is what it is and blah, blah, blah. And then there's an assembly presentation that can be done. So there's 2 ways of looking at it. You can say, oh, they're making this skin condition a thing, But at the same time, what it is it's educating people about what it is, because
Mm.
a lot of people don't know what it is. And then it bypasses the need for the awkward or rude or insensitive
Yeah,
conversations at school and all of that stuff.
it's awareness too, isn't it? Letting the children know as
Yeah,
well as the teachers. And
yeah,
obviously that child and also the child living with it, to know that other people know what they have, because,
yeah,
it's just, that's really important. That's really powerful.
yeah. So there's a bit in it that has case studies of real people. So you've got Winnie Harlow, who's the model who's got it. And then you've got some people in pop groups and people who are like the Only Ways Essex and actors who have it as well. So they make a point of all of these people in these different areas who have it. And yeah, they're just getting on with their life.
Yeah. So out of you Googling to find out what you're doing for your business, finding out
Yeah.
how to show representation in your designs, you
Mm.
come across the society and now you're in schools. That is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what? I didn't think about it. Yeah, I didn't think about it like that.
That
Wow.
is such a powerful thing that you've done.
Right. Do you know what? I never made that connection. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
my designs are in schools.
that's fantastic. You need to shout about that more.
I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
You could even,
Yeah.
when they're on the call, I'm sure your designs are copyrighted, but you could even patent that and send that on to other schools and make something of it, couldn't you? And like
I
spread
mean,
awareness.
I think that's what the Vitiligo Society are trying to do. They're trying to just raise awareness and get it out to all, yeah, all
Fantastic.
institutions.
That's brilliant. What is your future holding for you? What's next? Obviously, I know you've got your day job, but what's happening next with Sylvia Prince Designs?
Okay, so I'm doing 2 trade shows next year, and I'm sort of trying to, so there are a few design things that I'm working on right now. I'm working on a set of playing cards. Yeah.
Nice.
The only problem I've got is that I've got more characters than the 4 the
The
4
suits,
suits.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I don't
Oh,
know
you're gonna have to make
which, yeah.
decisions.
Yeah, and also it's like, it sounds really random. I think about these things and I'm obsessed with it. I'm very conscious of which colour is the spade. Like, it sounds,
That's interesting. So if people don't know, I think if you're black and listening to this podcast, you would know that the word spade is a derogatory term for a black person. But yeah, that's quite a hard one to. But
yeah.
isn't it in old English? It's called a knave too, isn't it?
I'd
Do you know what? Look that up
I
maybe. 'Cause I think it is. But even then, even if we know that symbol, the spade, everybody says spade,
still call
don't
it.
they? You still call it a spade. So that's quite tricky. How it?
Yeah, but it's really just random things pop in my head. I'm doing colouring books and I'm doing a diary.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
That's probably gonna be for 2026, because by the time I do it next year.
It'd be time for the following. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or you can have it undated. Sometimes people do diaries undated, but I know everyone would like
Mm,
2026. But idea.
yeah, that's so it'll
Yeah.
be like one of those journals that
Oh,
my
like a
daughter loves so
wellness,
much.
the wellness journal type
Yeah,
thing, and they can write thoughts
yeah.
and affirmations oh, that's wonderful.
And I'm trying to illustrate a series of children's books based on my characters. So there'll be a mixture of
Wow.
fiction and non-fiction. That's taking time because I need to have a format. So all of my
Yeah.
characters, so at the moment I've got 18 or 19, like 18 or 20 children. 18 of them have got profiles. So they've all got their own personality. So for example, my son, Ruben, he's into tech. And that's his real life thing. Naya loves animals and she wanted to be a vet. That's her real life personality. Ella couldn't decide what she wanted to do. She wanted to be a journalist, a teacher, an illustrator, and all these different kinds of. So it was very intentional when I set them up. I knew I wanted to go down this route. So it's books about each child and their interest, but I have to work out a format that fits across all of the different occupations.
How do you fit this all in with your day job? Do you take time?
I
Do you take
don't.
a day? Oh, okay. I was going to
That's
ask, do
why
you
it's
take
not
a day
getting
off?
done.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, are you working weekends? Are you taking days off to do it?
No, I just lose sleep. Basically, I go to my bed late,
Oh, wow. Wow.
basically.
Wow.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, that's just Well, I can't wait to see them. That's going to be amazing when they do come out. But do get some sleep, please. Like, factor in sleep in your day.
Thank you. It's just concealer. It will be all right.
You'll be all right. But I can see the characters behind you. And I love on your website that you've got the characters on the website and they've got their own little products and their own and what they're up to. And it's just so cool. And obviously, children
Thank
seeing
you.
that, they can see themselves in there one day and it's not the usual suspects of what characters or personalities we should be. So that's good
Yeah.
to see. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask another question. And
Yep.
what would you tell your teenage self if you were, because obviously it sounds like you've always liked design, you've always liked art, but is there something that you would tell your teenage self about you now?
There's a few things. So I grew up in Brixton. One of them would probably be to buy a flat in Brixton. That would be a good thing.
I just let people know Brixton is in London, and if anyone knows London house property prices, they're worth millions now.
Yeah, but it wasn't like that when I was growing up in Brixton. But anyway, I would say that don't be distracted by trying to be like everyone else. And I think a thing that you realize as an adult is that your difference is your superpower. But you don't know that when you're a teenager just trying to fit in. So don't try to be like everyone else. It's okay for people not to like you. And no is a complete sentence. That's my thing. I've been very comfortable. I do a thing. If somebody asks me something, I honed this when I was doing my graphic design in a corporate that I didn't like. People would ask me, can you do something? And I would say no. And I would say nothing else after. And just I learned to be very comfortable with that awkward silence. Because sometimes when you're in a position that people expect you to do things, you say, well, no, I can't really do that, but I'll see if I can fit it in. You talk yourself around to a yes when really just should have left it at a no. And I've learned to say no and say nothing after and just look at the person.
Just give them side eye. Just wait, see what happens.
Just look, just
wow.
Yeah, and then they'll be like,
and they'll realise,
and then they just have to go. And I think a lot of times we end up doing things that we don't want to do because it's been programmed into us, especially as women. We're supposed to make everybody happy. So you end up betraying yourself and you end up in situations that you don't want to be in because you're thinking about the other person rather than yourself.
Yeah.
So that's what I would tell my younger self, because I think you feel like you have to do what everybody else does, otherwise people won't like you. As a teenage girl specifically, I'm perfectly happy for people not to like me. But I can only say that now.
Because you've had the life experience of it as a teenager. Yeah. Well, Sylvia, I'm so glad you said yes to me coming on this podcast.
Absolutely. I could listen.
I'm so excited.
The energy that you and Io brought when you came to my stand. Do you know when you meet people and they make you smile?
Yeah.
That's the energy that you two have.
So what I like to do with my guests too is do a quick fire, fun 5 questions. It's either a one or the other.
Okay.
Don't worry, it's
okay, that's good.
So first one, crisp or chocolates?
Chocolate. All day, every day.
Beach or forest?
Beach. I don't like bugs. Beach.
Beach, okay. Book or Kindle?
Book.
Reggae or soul?
Oh. It's got to be soul, soul.
Soul?
Groove is my favourite. It's got to be soul.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, that's a horrible question.
I know, isn't it?
That's
a lot of people, there was one guy I spoke to.
That's terrible.
There was one guy I spoke to and he went, no, I'm not answering.
That's terrible. Wow. It's mean.
Last one, patty or a sandwich?
Patty, but in a cocoa bread.
So patty in cocoa bread, so a patty sandwich.
No, patty all day.
Yeah.
Patty, yeah.
Yeah.
But in a cocoa bread.
Brilliant. See, Sylvia, you made me laugh and you just made me smile. And again, like you said about the Black Business Show, when I met you, you were just all smiles. And when we saw you, we just loved it. So how can people find you and where can they find you?
So I've got a website, which is sylviaprince.com. so my name.
Uh-huh.
And I am Sylvia Prince Designs on Instagram and Facebook, but I mainly post most of my
Brilliant.
stuff on Instagram.
Instagram, brilliant. And in the notes, I will put all the links there so people can connect with you.
Thank you.
And obviously buy your cards and
Thank you very
your
much.
bookmarks, and next year the journals and all sorts of things going on. So,
Pressure.
you know, I want to see you in like the big stores like John Lewis and Sainsbury's or Tesco. You need to be in there. So I can't wait to see you in those places. That's the plan. Brilliant. Keep going, keep going. You're doing amazing. Remember, just like picture all those kids' faces when they receive your cards, and the adults too. So
That's why I keep doing it. It's really great when I see somebody. It's like, oh, that looks like me.
Yeah. And I love this one. So I'm just going to grab this one down. If I know it's an audio podcast, but I've got this one. I bought this card for me. And the thing is with cards, I always buy them, right? And I was intent to give them to people, but I was like, oh, I really like this one. I'm going to have to go and buy another one now. So I'm going to keep it.
Yes, buy another one.
This. Yeah, I'll buy another one. This one's, let's tell the listeners, it's a lady with afro, and she's actually got afro comb earrings, and they just look so cool. Are they afro comb earrings? They are, aren't they? Yeah, cool.
They are, yeah.
Brilliant.
They
Thank
really
you,
are.
Sylvia. It's so wonderful chatting to you. And yeah, we'll speak soon, I'm sure, and see you soon. Take care.
Thank you, Ange.
Let me start by giving thanks. Thank you for tuning in to Creatives Like Us. I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it thought-provoking, inspiring and entertaining. If you did, it would absolutely make my day if you could share, subscribe, rate, review, wherever you get your podcast from. Also, if you have a question or a comment, I'd love to hear from you. All the ways to connect are in the notes. Until next time, keep being creative like us.